Hi everyone, welcome to After Class
a podcast by two passionate adult ballerinas about all things adult ballet related.
and some random thoughts in between.
We're so glad you're here.
So grab your water bottle
Or a cup of coffee.
and join us for a quick chat after class.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of After Class. Today, I am super excited because I am joined by a very special guest who is a listener of the podcast and who I got to meet at the Catherine Morgan and Friends Summer Intensive a few weeks ago. So, welcome to the podcast, Candis.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. I feel famous. Oh my gosh. I'm incredibly excited.
Oh, I'm so glad to have you. It was so fun getting to connect. We connected like on the first night of the intensive, which was really fun because then I felt like we got to spend the whole week hanging out. We were in the same small group for our performance. We performed in little groups of fours and we got to be in the same group. So that was really fun. We got lots of dancing time together. So I'm super excited to have you on because people have heard me talk about going to the intensive in the past, but this was your first intensive ever, right?
Yes, it was. It was amazing. I did a lot of preparation for it. I was so excited for it. I needed it. It exceeded my expectations. And before and after the intensive, I looked up, into I want to know what other people's thoughts were, what other adults' thoughts were. And I have seen some interesting opinions about intensives in general, not just Catherine Morgan's, but intensives in general and what adults think about it and what some adult ballet teachers think about it. And I found like some of the opinions pretty interesting. And knowing me, the reason why I even knew who you were the first day is because I consume so much ballet content, especially adult ballet content. I want to know who's in the community and I want to feel connected to people who are doing this thing. And obviously, if you're searching with it 5 to 7 minutes, you're going to come across the busy bunhead. So if you're an adult ballet dancer, you're really searching for other adult ballet dancers who are trying to figure this thing out and just learning, trying to get resources, you pop up. And so I knew who you were when I entered the intensive and there was a meet and greet. And I was like, oh my gosh, there she is. Cause I, of course, listened to the episode previous and you were saying, oh, how you were getting ready for this intensive. And you said that you were going to be doing the Catherine Morgan intensive. And I was like, we're going to be in the same intensive. That's so amazing.
Yeah, it was just so fun to get to connect with you because I think I said this when we first met. Like with the podcast, you're kind of just recording and it's just like going out into the void and you never really know who's listening or what people are thinking, like unless they message you or unless something happens. And it was just so cool to get to meet you in person. But I'm curious, like, what was it as you were kind of researching and thinking about going to an intensive, what was it for you that was kind of the final deciding factor of like, okay, I want to jump in and try this for myself?
Well, in all of my obsessing about adult ballet research that I'm always doing, I'm always taking class. I'm very fortunate to take class in person because I live in the LA area and I'm privileged enough to have a bunch of different ballet studios available to me as an adult. And I know that is not everyone's story. And I like to still feel connected to other people, whether or not they're in the LA area or not. So I had looked up on YouTube and podcasts like this one, and I was really trying to find other adults who had gone to these things called intensives because I'm a person that loves to go on YouTube. So whether it was Catherine Morgan or other influencers who are ballet dancers, were professional ballet dancers that talked about intensives and what a pack for an intensive. And I'm like, what's an intensive? Oh my gosh, that seems like a lot, especially for kids. Oh, they're available for adults now because the adult ballet community is growing so much. And, you do your research on how much things cost, and I will get into that. But the cost of things and what do you want to get out of the intensive? And I just really community was the main one, just being around a bunch of other adults who were literally obsessed with this ballet thing that is not, you know, when you first start, you don't know how many people are into this, and it feels really weird. And I started about 3.5 years ago. It feels really weird that you start going like, I'll go to a dance class. Let me just find something interesting to do. And then you fall in love with this thing and you're, in your 30s or basically however old you are, you're not 12. Okay. Oh, you get into this thing and you're like, is anyone else absolutely losing their mind and they're having their minds blown every time they go to class and just being reintroduced to their body in this way and and feeling connected to other people and the energy, when they go to class. Wow, like, let me look up these people, and before you know it, you go down a rabbit hole. Then you find adults who are going to intensives, whether it's Catherine Morgan or Art Emotion or Ballet with Isabella or Mr. Duke. I mean, there's so many available now, and I was looking it up, and I knew I wanted to talk about this. I knew I probably wasn't gonna have a job. I work in the entertainment industry, and right now the entertainment industry is way down, you guys. I am not rich. Okay. Me and my husband live like pretty much below our means, which is why I'm able to afford to go to class. But when I was looking up different intensives and Catherine Morgan announced that they would be doing this again and it was going to be for the last time, I was like, I gotta sign up. Something in my spirit was just like, you gotta sign up. Like, whatever happens, happens. You don't have children, so I wouldn't be necessarily, bringing down the amount of money in the household or anything. And now's the time to sort of take that chance and live my life. So I decided to just sign up. But just seeing how Catherine Morgan's intensives went the previous years and how happy everyone was, I was just like, that just seems so cool. I really want to be a part of it. So I did a lot of research about all intensives before I chose Catherine Morgan's. And the reason why I chose hers is because I was familiar with her content and her style of teaching and her dedication to adult ballet students. And I live in LA and it's in Huntington Beach, California. So it's a drive away. So that means that, worst comes to worst, I could commute. I chose not to. I got an Airbnb, but it was just a drive. I didn't have to buy a plane ticket. I didn't have to do all these things. I could meal prep to save money. So I was basically looking for something affordable and something kind of like well known. And this time I wanted a social and camp feeling as well. And that's exactly what it felt like. And I grew up going to camp. I love camp. So I had the best time connecting with all these other incredible women
Yeah.
who were taking class every day with me.
It really is like it's like ballet summer camp. And this year, there was only women, which isn't because boys aren't allowed. We've had men in the past, but this year it ended up just being all women. And so it was like this insane, amazing all girls ballet summer camp. And it was so wonderful. This was my 3rd time going, but this was my favorite year, and it's always been amazing, but the energy this year and the camaraderie and the community aspects, like you mentioned, was just off the charts this year. Hey, adult dancer. Do you love the podcast and want more resources, news, and tips to support your ballet goals? Head over to thebusybunhead.com, your source for all things adult ballet. Stay in the know, find community, and fuel your motivation with resources like the bulletin board, a free monthly newsletter, and the Bunhead Book Club. Brand new to ballet? Book a session to get your questions answered. It's all waiting for you at thebusybunhead.com. Signing up for one of these for the first time is a big leap to take. So as it got closer, kind of in the few days leading up to it, how were you feeling? Were you nervous or were you like, I'm so ready? What was your emotional state leading up to it?
I was really, really excited. I had a little bit of anxiety, not about making friends or if I'm going to do well in class, but more about my mindset. And in this particular intensive, the resources that were provided to us were really helpful to me, and I used all of them. And one of them was a mindset coach. Shout out to Kirsten Kemp. And it was actually that was like the most challenging part. So my mindset of how am I going to be when I get there? I need to sort of, shed myself of like all these expectations, which was good because I got not one combination right for all the 5 days that I was there in class. So, so really knowing to shed all of the expectations off of myself really helped me not go into some spiral because sometimes I definitely can get into a spiral of my progress and worrying about my progress when I feel like I quote unquote haven't done anything right, when really that's not what it's about. Logically, I know that, but sometimes emotionally that doesn't quite connect with me. So I was really, really ready. I was really confident in the physical aspect of it. I trained for 6 months to be able to handle this load, and my body felt great the entire time. But the mindset part was the hardest part to kind of to really dig into for me. That is not always the easiest for me to connect to.
No, I totally agree. I think it's especially looking back at the first one I went to, because I think after you go to the first one, like, and you would probably say this too, like if you were to go to another one next summer, you would feel a little bit more, I don't know if like confidence is the right word, but you just aren't so unsure of how things are going to be. But I think the first time you go in, especially, like I remember being so nervous about like, would I be able to keep up just with combinations and remembering choreography and things like that? You know, you're around some really beautiful dancers. And so that part of it of like, oh my gosh, am I just going to feel like I'm the absolute worst one in the room the whole time? And there's a lot mentally, you know, in the lead up to it. But what was kind of like a typical day like at this intensive? Obviously, I know because I was there, but for everyone
Mhm.
listening who wasn't there, what was kind of the typical day in the life at the intensive?
Okay, you get to the studio and there is about a 45-minute warm up, either with Allie, shout out Allie at Align Fitness, or Catherine Morgan. And you get your butt kicked there a little bit right before you have to go to class and get your butt kicked even more. And so, following that, like I mentioned, technique class, and it was broken up into three different ones: beginning, intermediate, and advanced. Hannah and I were in the intermediate one together. You get there and everyone is so different. And so you got to really get your questions answered because everyone has a different body type and everyone has come into this dance at a different point in their lives where their bodies, maybe they used to be a dancer and, now maybe they've had children or they've had an injury. And you just get to see how other people are working things out in their body, and it kind of gives you confidence and also the space to be nice to yourself. And that's kind of a huge theme for me, is being nicer to myself. So we'd have technique class, then you either did a point class or lunch or a technique class. And usually after lunch, there was another Allie workshop where she is again kicking our butts again, giving us some exercises that we're feeling. You hear the groans throughout the room. Um, You're getting that core strengthened, okay? Getting those legs and glutes activated, okay? Then we went into rep to rehearse our piece that we all debuted at the end of the week. So, and shout out to our teacher. Oh my gosh. She had
Uh,
the patience of a saint. She's so good. Professional.
Rachel Hutzel, everyone. If you do not follow Rachel Hutzel on Instagram, you should. She is not only an insanely gorgeous dancer, but she is a gorgeous human being. I think
Yeah.
we benefited from her teaching so much. And the fact that she taught our group, which each group had 4 people in it, the
Mhm.
piece had 4 dancers, and every dancer had slightly different choreography or like a mirror of their
Yes.
other counterpart. And so the fact that she was able to teach 4 different parts, I was like, "Rachel, you are blowing my mind right now." She was
Listen,
incredible.
we had the largest group, you guys.
Yeah, we
Like,
did.
what like, the advanced and the beginner groups had about 12 people, maybe, 14 people max. Our group had between 22 and 26. So that's a lot of choreography, you guys. That's a lot of getting, and intermediate is such an interesting level to be in. And this is a good note for intensives in the future. Intermediate is a very interesting level to be in because you could actually be a bit more advanced than the intermediate. You could be still beginner, but you're trying to really up your game, really
Yeah.
challenge yourself and see where you're going to go with this and commit to it and commit to yourself. So there were like all different types of levels in intermediate, actually.
Yeah.
So it was very different than the advanced and beginner, which is kind of pretty straightforward. You know what I mean? But for intermediate is a weird space to be in as a dancer, as an adult dancer, because you're like I feel good enough to do this, but also I feel not good enough to do most things. you you're in a weird headspace, and I feel like I'll be an intermediate for the rest of my life. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's true. I'm like, this is I can't I could go to the beginner classes, and I don't believe in too slow. I believe that there's always a way to enhance your technique in any class you're going to, even if it's basic learning how to do a tendu. But you like the advanced classes, obviously, I mean, anytime I go to an advanced class, I am the worst one in the room. And the intermediate is just so wide. Every teacher's intermediate is different.
Yeah.
Every studio's intermediate is different. And one day you're feeling really good. You're like, yeah, I'm intermediate. I'm super intermediate, you guys. This is where I belong. And then other days you go to intermediate class and you're like, maybe I should never have even tried to do ballet.
Yeah.
Maybe I should quit. Maybe I should just go hide under some stairs
Yeah.
because I do not belong here. So intermediate is a very interesting place to be physically, mindset wise, teacher wise, and yeah, Rachel was amazing. And she had a lot to work with because there were so many different levels within the intermediate, which is why it was the largest group. And I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be surprised if most intensives are like that. Although this again is my first. So is it that way, Hannah? Like I know you've been to several other intensives.
Yeah, I mean, the other Catherine Morgan ones I've been to, there was actually only 2 levels. And so this was different in having 3. It was really nice to have that added specificity because I almost feel like with ballet, you need like 15 levels. No.
You need at least 10 levels.
Totally.
Yeah, and what I wish studios would do, this is my only note because I actually don't have many notes on what studios do, and everybody should be able to command their own space. It's so much easier as an adult dancer, studio owners, dance teachers, is if you have a website and you're saying, "Hey, here are the different levels." Putting years next to the levels or months next to the levels really helps. So if it's a basic class and you say 0 to 6 months of ballet, and if you have like a beginner 1 or 2, how many years is that?
Yeah.
How many years have they have to have consistently gone? Because that's the first thing I learned when I started dance. Beginner doesn't mean beginner. Isn't that fun, everyone? Welcome to ballet. Welcome to ballet. Words are really just, suggestion.
So funny. Yeah, that was actually one of the things that I really appreciated that they did this year about the leveling for the Catherine Morgan and Friends intensive is that they did the classes that she put, I think they were on YouTube, where she
Yes.
basically did like a sample class of what to expect in each level. And I'm pretty sure that that was posted either right before or right
It was
around
months.
when registration
It was months
opened.
before.
It was
Mhm.
so helpful to be able to watch those classes and be like, "Okay, yes, that is what I think I can do." Because like you said, it's so subjective depending on the studio you're at. There's just so many factors, and so I really appreciated that they put out sample classes to help you pick your level. I thought that was a very, very handy way of helping people register, and I hope that more intensives will also do that because that is something that I
Yep.
really was like, "Genius. Thank you."
Yes. And one thing about Catherine Morgan's intensives, because I love to see what ballet teachers are talking about. So I follow a lot of ballet teachers, especially the ones that have a really big place on the internet, on YouTube and on Instagram. So I follow all the girls. I follow all the girls, all the guys. And what is really interesting about Catherine Morgan's intensives and probably a few other ones is that these intensives that cater to adults, a lot of them, especially after they've done it for year 2, 3, they know what to do. They know who their audience is, they know who their dancers are, and they know what they're doing. They know what to expect. Like on Wednesday, it was a lighter day, and that is because I would say there are different types of intensives, and Catherine Morgan's has obviously, like I mentioned, a huge aspect of community. And so there were lots of social events, which made it feel like camp, and it was amazing. And I loved getting to know everyone. And Wednesday, there was a beach day that was super fun, but it was a lighter day, right? Because not everyone, not all adults are able to dedicate 6 months of straight training. I was slash am unemployed. I have all the time in the world to lift weights. But maybe a mom, wife, somebody with a really demanding job, someone who travels a lot, someone who's recovering from an injury, all these things that are not, a part of my life. I have a husband, but he does what he does, so I have a lot of time. So knowing this, they made sure to put a little bit of a break in the middle of the week so that people aren't actually falling over and not able to get up again. Okay. So, but they know that they want their intensive to be really inclusive of everyone, no matter their fitness level, and really wanted to communicate to their dancers that, hey, it's okay if you have to sit out from the jumps. It's okay if you can't take the point class. Do what you need to do and listen to your body, and every intensive is different. I don't believe any intensive wants you to hurt yourself, but there are so many different types of intensives that need different levels of physical fitness. And that's something you really need to know before you sign up.
Yeah, the preparation part is so important as much as is possible, and then, like you said, the ability to also know when to just press the pause button while you're there. And I think one of the things I really appreciate about this intensive in particular is I think it's one thing for whoever is putting on an intensive to say, if you need to sit out, then you can. And it's another thing to actually make that feel like a comfortable thing for people to do, or they're not going to feel weird about it. And I think that that's something I've always appreciated about this intensive is like they say that, but then the atmosphere they provide also makes it extremely comfortable and okay for you to actually take them up on that versus you can sit out if you need to, but where you kind of feel like you're getting a little side eye about it. And so I really appreciate it that they say that and then it is truly like, yeah, go sit out, go get your water, go do what you got to do. Like, we don't care. It's such a nice thing for adults to be able to have that blend of it's a very serious environment in the sense that you are getting serious ballet training, but it's a very supportive environment in the sense that you are also completely free to listen to your body. So, like, striking that balance of both and where, like, the seriousness of the training isn't being compromised, but also you're not being asked to, like, push yourself beyond what you're comfortable with, I think is a really amazing thing that they've achieved with this intensive specifically. So, moving into kind of like more reflective questions, I would love to know what were some of your highlight moments, whether they were dance related, of like wins that you saw for yourself or just social interactions. What were some of the highlights for you of the week?
Some of the highlights was especially meeting everyone. I was so incredibly charmed by everyone there, including the teachers. The vibes were immaculate, you guys. Immaculate vibes. And I know that some people may not believe that that's super important to them in their intensives, and that is perfectly fine. Please find an intensive that fits your needs, but vibes is pretty important. It can definitely make or break your experience. So, yeah, meeting everyone was one huge highlight. Meeting the busy bunhead, huge highlight. 'Cause I really respect you. You made a lot of really cool moves with your love of this community and your love of dance and really carving a space that makes dancers like me feel really seen in your work. So that was really cool meeting you, meeting the teachers, of course. And I would say a highlight for me was doing the rep and really showcasing myself. I'm afraid. Okay, I'm so scared to be perceived and to participate in a show, but a large part of me does want to do it. I'm so lame. I'm like, I want to do a show, but I don't want anyone to see me. And no one can see me do it. Everyone come to the show and turn around. You can't say anything that would make me cry. You has to just so I really was able to get a huge dose of that get over yourself and just have fun. All this technique that you're doing, all this studying you're doing, you're practicing you're doing, and being able to perform it and actually have a lot of fun. I had so much fun performing it, and I made mistakes, and I didn't die. I didn't die when I made those mistakes, guys, okay? And everyone still clapped and really enjoyed our performance, and it was fun, you know? It felt like a really great ending to all the hard work we had been doing over the week, and it's inspired me that maybe it's possible, very possible that I might at some point in the future-ish, wanna get on someone's stage and dance, which is a huge, huge step for me. I know for a lot of people, that is obviously their goal, and I love that for them, but that fear has had me in a chokehold for the whole 3.5 years I've been doing this, and I love it when other adult ballet dancers go and I see them on stage. I never have a
Mhm.
judgmental bone in my body, so I don't know why I think that just if I get up there, everyone's gonna hate me and judge me and I'm not good enough. But when I felt the immaculate vibes, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I think that I want to be on stage. Maybe I can make it happen in this year around Nutcracker. I can be a parent or something." Just I was really moved by
Mhm.
my experience, and that was a really huge highlight, and I was able to look back at the recording that I took of it and see my mistakes, but still see someone who was having a lot of fun, and that is a huge, huge win for me.
Oh, I love that. It was, like, such a beautiful everything you just said, same. I was so moved by watching the advanced girls perform that I
Yes.
actually, like, I don't know if this is embarrassing to admit, but, like, I cried watching the advanced girls dance because it was so beautiful and so moving to me and, like, inspiring on a totally other level than watching, like, quote, unquote, "professional dancers."
I'm right
And
here with you.
yeah,
Right here with you.
it
Yes.
was like yeah, it's, like, hard to even put into words what that's like to watch fellow adults, especially too because of the experience of getting to dance alongside them and be alongside them during the week, and then to get to watch this advanced group do this beautiful piece and just look like absolute radiant queens. I am so moved, I am so motivated, and I am so inspired to go home and keep training in the hopes that I can dance like you someday. Not like Marianela Nunez or Natalia Osipova or Misty Copeland. I wanna dance like you. These women were beautiful to watch, and knowing that some of them are moms and, like, all different ages, and some of them the injuries that they've been through and their, hard pass with ballet and, like, coming back to as an adult, it was just so moving to me, I cried.
Hannah, we are on the same wavelength. I was moved by everyone's performance. The advanced group hit me in such a different way because, like I said, I feel like I'm going to be intermediate forever. And I'm really just going off faith. Everyone says keep showing up to class. So that's what I do. But there's so many days where I'm like, I guess when they say that you'll be 1% better, I guess it is really 1% because let me tell you something. I don't feel like I did anything I was supposed to do. But seeing the advanced group dance, I was saying to them that it felt like watching your big sisters dance. Some of them were younger than me, okay? A good amount of them were younger than me. But they were my like big ballet sisters. And you're right. When you're watching the professionals, and I watch the professionals a lot. I love World Ballet Day, my teachers, all of this. But watching them, it felt attainable. I was like, "Wait a minute. So if I keep showing up to class and keep doing the work and keep being positive with myself, then eventually I'll be able to look like them when they dance." I literally was like, "I think we should have paid you guys." It was
Yes.
amazing to see them all dance in sync that way and musicality, but it was attainable in a way that it doesn't mean like, "Oh, in 2 days, I'll be like that." Oh, no, it's gonna take some work, okay? It's gonna take mainly time, but some years, but I'm here for the ride. It was so motivating. I came back the same way as you, Hannah, just ready to go to class, ready to keep working, ready to keep discovering, it's almost like you're always discovering a tendu and a plie again. Every time, every few months, you're like, "Wait a minute. This is what this feels like at this time in my life." Again, a plie feels different than it did a year ago. And that is this feeling of discovery of yourself and your body and how other people are applying their technique. It was so amazing. I came back so ready to go to class, so ready to apply and try again and again, and I was so moved. So it was not only you.
I was crying
I
in the
also
corner.
no, it was not only you, although when the beginners I love the beginners.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Somebody needed to sedate me. I was feral. I needed more of it. I loved their performance. I loved it. I mean, it was like seeing your heart out there just dancing because they literally were beginners. And some of them you could already see had just star quality and others had like great musicality. You could see their strengths.
Yep.
When you see someone perform, you don't only see their weaknesses when they're quote unquote doing something wrong. You see their strengths. I felt like I saw each of them for like who they were, and it was so
Mhm.
much fun. They did such a great job, and I could have watched their performance like
Oh my gosh.
20 times, no
Yeah.
breaks.
No, it really, and I think too, like the thing, it was just so cool about the performance aspect at the end is you're realizing that everyone is up there purely for the
Mm,
joy of doing ballet. And, knowing like watching the advanced dancers and just how polished and beautiful. I mean, we were joking, they looked like a company. Like
they
you're
did.
saying, I should have paid for tickets to this. It was gorgeous. But they did all that hard work not just during the week, but leading up to get to that level. And like they're not getting paid for it. And not to diminish, what professional dancers do. It's amazing, but it's like that's their job. These are people who have other careers and like all these other things they're juggling. And they are showing up and doing ballet purely because they love it so much. And in all of the levels, watching them perform, the love for dance that was just radiating, like literally radiating off of people was unbelievable. I think that's why I was at least partially why I was so emotional was just seeing adults do something that just gave them pure joy and that they love so much. I was like, this is an absolute gift to get to behold something like this. Like so many people don't ever get to see what that looks like, to see these women just living in their absolute best, highest joy. I was like,
I
this is
know.
gorgeous.
It was like
Gorgeous.
watching when Sailor Moon transforms. Like that's what watching them. They just. I mean, like you said, they were radiating everyone. And when you're doing it, I mean, you don't know if you're radiating or not. I'm just trying to sit here and saute chasse my little way, and I'm also having fun. But I don't know if I'm radiating. I suppose we also radiated. I hope we were just as inspiring as everyone else. But it was so much fun.
Mhm.
Everyone was so sweet. Not one person was, stuck up or persnickety or anything. Like everyone was so cool. And I was so glad that I decided to take this leap. And I'm the type of person again. I did a lot of research, maybe over researched, okay, to know how best to be prepared for this. And I've seen some things online, like some Reddit posts of people wondering if an intensive is worth it. And I can't say for anyone listening if an intensive is worth it. It really just depends on what your priorities are for your dance in that year or in the next 3 years or something. An intensive is not essential for you as an adult ballet dancer to progress and be an amazing dancer. That is not what it's really about. There obviously you will learn a lot. There is always something good in switching your teachers up or your environment, going someplace completely new and challenging yourself, being immersed in it. That's really what an intensive is about, is being completely sort of immersed in the art form, in the discipline and technique so that you can really know what it feels like, so that you can sort of erase everything else from your mind and just focus on your ballet, which is hard to do in your day-to-day life. You have other things going on, especially as adults. But it's really important to know what you want to get out of the intensive. Do you also want social time with people? You don't have to. You don't have to go. You don't have to sign up for intensives that offer that. There are all different types, some that are 3 days, some that are 2 weeks. So really just do a lot of research. I think there is an intensive out there for everyone, even money wise. And, again, you do not have to go to an intensive to be an amazing dancer. That's not what it's about. It's really about whatever you want to make it. And I would say to always just keep showing up to your local class, whether it's on Zoom or it's at, a studio that you go to every day. If you want to invest in things like private lessons, do that. But all in all, take yourself seriously. Take yourself seriously. It's okay to invest in yourself. It's okay to invest in this art form. It's okay to want to make this a practice. Don't feel bad about taking yourself seriously in this art form as an adult ballet dancer. There's so many resources available to you, so many teachers that love teaching us and really value us. You don't have to settle for, oh, I just take this little class. You can go to an intensive, you can travel the world, you can make friends, you can get on point and you can work this until the day you die. Okay? So that's the only thing I want people to really take away from this is not only my experience, but their experience as someone who's really looking out for themselves and really wanting to love themselves in this way of taking themselves seriously in something and loving something, and really wanting to be good at it and really wanting to show up even if they're not good at it. So that's what it's about, and that's what ballet intensives are about. Keep checking into the Busy Bunhead because she has list of intensives that
Yeah.
go on, and each one have a different vibe.
Yep, lots of different ones. And I'm going to
Lots.
start updating for 2026 here soon because I know that some places are already starting to release their 2026 dates. And I love what you said because I think even for people who maybe can't go to an intensive for whatever reason, just know that you're not alone in this world. And there is a whole other wild group of us that are in the exact same boat as you who absolutely love it and are serious about it and are passionate about getting better. And so just like you said, Candice, keep giving that gift to yourself of taking yourself seriously, taking your training seriously, because it really is just the gift that keeps on giving. And I think the more you just keep showing up, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's YouTube classes, Zoom classes, in studio, whatever you can find, whatever you can afford, keep giving that gift to yourself. And it will continue to pay off in a lot of joy because I know both of us have experienced that. And we would love to cheer you on as you do that. Thank you so much, Candice, for sharing your experience.
I appreciate coming on to the podcast. I hope that this is really helpful for other people who are like me. They're like, can someone tell me what is going on? Is this something I could do? And so I hope that this was really, really helpful for anyone. And yeah, I'm not like super prevalent on social media. I'm on there. I just don't post much. But if anyone has any questions for me, in terms of what can I expect? How can I do this if I have no money? I have ideas on that. So
Yeah, definitely follow Candice. What is your handle? And then I'll also link it in the show notes.
my Instagram is at Candy Apple Juice. So I read my DMs and stuff, but I'm not very good at posting. So even though you may go on my Instagram and you may say, this lady, she is not on here. I am. I'm just working and liking everyone else's posts.
I love that. If you have questions, you should definitely reach out to Candice because she has a beautiful ability to articulate the experience. And I know that she would love to connect with you guys. We would also love it if you enjoyed the episode, if you would be willing to leave a review. It helps other dancers find the podcast, and we really appreciate it. So thank you again so much, Candice, for joining us. We hope that you guys enjoyed this episode, and feel free to connect with us if you have any more questions about intensives, and we will catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to After Class.
Join the community on YouTube and Instagram or come dance with us, our weekly Zoom classes for adult ballerinas like you.
Links included in the episode description. Special thank you to our sponsors.
See you next time after class. Podcast produced by Mission Bridge Media.